Well, hello. Today we're going to talk more about the timing and logistics of therapy intensives. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about how long an intensive takes and what all that means and like how does it actually work. So I want to take some time to explain that a little bit. I am going to be talking mostly about how I run intensives. Most therapists do them a little bit differently, but a lot of these are things that are pretty similar from person to person. So, the first thing after a consult to determine if an intensive is even right for you, your therapist will send you a customized workbook. What this will have, again, varies from person to person. What I send out in mine are appropriate assessments for those like things that I need to know as we're working together before we get started with an intensive. There's going to be a lot of questions, some background history, maybe some talk about things that you've tried in the past that have helped with this issue, sources of support, whether those are humans, whether they are pets, whether it is things that are regulating for you. There's going to be all of that. I also put a journaling section in mine about places for you to just put down into words thoughts and feelings going into the intensive, but then also you have space later on to come back and fill out thoughts about how it went, what you got out of it, what you want to continue to carry forward. Usually you'll turn that in before your pre-intensive session is scheduled, so your therapist has some time to look over that information, kind of if there's assessments that need to be scored, get into all of that, and just really kind of integrate things into our own brains so we can know how to best handle that pre-intensive session, which is usually the very, very first thing. So this is similar to an intake for therapy if you've been in therapy before. A little bit longer, about 60 to 90 minutes. It's going to be a review of the assessments that you did, if there's additional questions that came up from the therapist or even from you, and getting a better feel for really what we're going to dig into and really, really setting those goals. As you may know or may not, an intensive is really like laser focused on one thing. So as opposed to, oh, we're going to address anxiety during this intensive session, it's going to be more along the lines of, I want to decrease my anxiety about this upcoming move across country, right? So we're finalizing those goals, getting any last minute questions and logistics handled, and then moving on. Generally, we start the actual intensive a week, maybe two later than that pre-intensive session. I schedule mine for 3 hours per day, and I do them either as a 1 day intensive or a 3 day weekend. And those sessions will start with a brief double check on the goal. Hey, this is the goal that we said in our pre-intensive that you wanted to work on. Is this still it? And then we get started. If you are doing brain spotting, we're going to go through the setups that we're going to use and start processing and doing all of those good things. If we are doing more of a traditional talk therapy, we'll get an outline for kind of what the day will look like. And again, get started and go from there. I get asked a lot about taking breaks, and does this have to be 3 hours straight? No, it does not. I generally tell folks to plan on taking a break about halfway through for 10 to 15 minutes, but certainly if there's a point that you need to get up and move, you need to go to the bathroom, you need to grab some water, grab a snack, whatever, absolutely, we do that there. At the end of the day, if it is a multi-day intensive, we'll say 5-10 minutes at the end to just kind of wrap up, talk about what you want to get out of today and bring it forward to the next days, what you need to watch out for kind of overnight, what you need to be thinking about, all of that stuff. At the end of the full intensive session, whether that's 1 day or a 3 day, we'll spend a little bit of extra time just talking about what you can expect over the next few days or few weeks. What are times that you need to reach out? How does that work? All of those things. Then we have a follow-up session scheduled, again, usually a week or two out from the last intensive session. It's another 60 to 90 minutes, just kind of depending, where we can really talk about what did you get out of this time? What do you need to continue to work on? If anything, are there future therapy needs? I know a lot of my folks I see have a therapist that they work with regularly. We talk about how are you bringing these things back to your therapist. If you are somebody who does not have a regular therapist, if that is something that is needed, we would talk about getting that person set up for you and how can we get those needs met. That's pretty much it for timing and logistics. The other last thing that I want to briefly touch on that I get asked all the time, can you do an intensive virtually? Absolutely resounding yes. I do all of mine virtually. A lot of folks love that they can do it from the comfort of their own home. You've got your own comfort items, your own space around you, pets. It's great for a lot of folks. I also have some folks who are like, I want to go get like an Airbnb for the weekend and just really focus on my healing. And they're able to do that. As long as you're in a state that your therapist is licensed in, you can really do it from wherever. So that's about it. If you have any questions or if you are in the Carolinas and would like to reach out to schedule a consult for a therapy intensive, feel free to reach out to me at ridgelinecas.com/contact, and I'd love to talk. Thanks.